I remember when I first saw Clara. She was dressed up as an angel. She was lowered from the skies, and she sang in the sweetest, most angelic voice I'd ever heard. It was the school nativity play, and I was in love with an angel. My name's Jack, and Clara never gave me the time of day. Every time I tried to talk to her, she'd turn her nose up at me and quickly walk the other way. I have no interest in boys who can't afford a shirt that fits. Besides, you're nobody. Clara was the queen bee, after all. Even when we were kids, she was already the most popular girl at school. Things didn't change much over high school and college. I was still the school weirdo who collects robots, and she was still the prettiest and most admired of them all. She'd always thought of me as being beneath her. To be fair, to Clara Montague, everyone else was. One day, my dreams came true. It was pizza day at the cafeteria, and I was in good spirits. The lunch lady gave me 2 slices because I was always nice to her. Lucky, I thought. As soon as I got my drink, I turned around and heard Clara's lovely voice. Hey, over here! She was waving at me, telling me to go over to her. I could hardly believe it. First, the extra pizza, and now the girl I wanted most in the world was about to talk to me. I had a grin from ear to ear when I skipped all the way to her. Hi, Clara. Nice of you to let me sit next to you today. Did you know my birthday's tomorrow? Do you maybe want to go out with me? I've always had a huge crush on you. Slap! My cheek stung, and I felt it turn red almost immediately. Clara's eyes were huge with embarrassment, and she was turning redder with every passing second. Her girlfriends were poking fun at her and laughing at my sudden declaration. I was waving at him! Her finger trembled with fury as she pointed over my shoulder. I was so humiliated. I was so dumb. I slowly turned and had to crane my neck to look at Jason, the basketball captain who was inches away from me. I'm sorry. I didn't... Clara shoved me and my tray slipped off my hands. Everything fell to the floor. It wasn't my lucky day after all. I considered picking up my 2 slices of pizza when Clara yelled in frustration. Get away from me! I ran out of there. But before I could disappear, a hand grabbed my arm and pulled me into the janitor's cupboard. The light switched on and I found myself face to face with... Clara! Shh! Mara, actually. Clara's sister. I didn't know Clara had a... I know. Nobody ever does. The consequences of being the queen bee's sister, I guess. They looked exactly alike. Only Mara dressed differently. And she was timid and quiet. Sorry my sister did all that. You know, I've known you since we were little. I just wanted to say that if my sister doesn't want you, you could date me instead. It was too weird for me, so I ran out of there and never thought about Mara again. Everyone hounded me from that moment on. They'd sing songs and taunt me whenever I walked down the halls. Jack and Clara sitting in a tree. K-I-S-S-I-N-G. The first time Clara heard someone singing that, she made them sob and call for their mom. Then shame took over me. People had videos of me confessing to Clara, and they shared it in group chats on their Insta stories. People made a meme of me. Until one day, I decided not to go back to school. I didn't show my face in public for weeks. I started working at a juice bar to make ends meet, but no matter how much I tried to get away from Clara, fate kept making us meet. I tried to duck out of the counter when I saw her and her girlfriends enter the store. But it was too late. One of her minions already spotted me. Look, Clara! It's him! Jack and Clara sitting in a tree. I swear, Julie, one more word out of that wonky mouth of yours, and I'm gonna have your dad send you to a convent. Clara laughed at me when she saw that I was working there. She and her girlfriends took photos of me working and sent them to our classmates. Can you guys imagine? This guy wanted to date me. This low-income dropout nerd wanted the queen to date him. It's hilarious, honestly. Hey, This isn't what I ordered! Clara and her friends made me take back their orders 3 times. Each of them came up with lame excuses like it was too cold or they could taste desperation in the fruits. My boss was really unhappy that I wasted 6 cups of juice that day. When Clara threw her cup at me because, as she said, it was too juicy, I closed my eyes and prepared to get slushed. But nothing hit me. And when I opened my eyes, Mara was standing in front of me, dripping in strawberry banana sunset cooler. That's enough, Clara! I won't let you treat my boyfriend like this any longer! The girls gasped. Even I was confused. Boy? Friend? That's right. Bother him again and I'm telling Dad that you're the one who maxed out his credit card. You don't want him to take your phone privileges, do you? That seemed to work like a charm, because Clara and her minions were out of there in a blink of an eye. I thanked Mara for coming to my rescue, but then she started hugging me and planting kisses on my cheeks. I was so confused. I guess, in her mind, she really was my girlfriend. Somehow that got Clara's attention as well, because for the next few days she kept coming back. She always lingered at the counter, trying to spark up conversation. It was only when Mara would come by that she'd skedaddle and pretend like she hadn't just spent an hour there trying to get me to talk to her. I learned that the two had been rivals since birth, and Clara had always taken everything from Mara. Clara was used to being the center of attention, and she could not stand idly by while her sister gets a boyfriend before her. Thus, the competition began. Clara started bringing me gifts. Chocolates, rings, diamond-studded bracelets. Mara would come by without fail at lunchtime, bringing me homemade lunches that looked too pretty to eat. And as the sisters competed for me, the girls on campus came to watch the spectacle. Suddenly, I wasn't invisible anymore. The girls followed their queen bee, and now they too were crushing on me. There wasn't a day when the juice bar wasn't filled with gorgeous girls. It doubled our sales. My boss and my workmates loved me for it. It didn't stop at work, though. Every morning as I left home, there'd be girls following me. As soon as I clocked out, the girls would leave too, and they'd tail me across town to the arcade I always went to. And then, they'd follow me back home again. I had to close all my curtains and lock my doors because it felt too weird when they'd just stand outside by the bushes and watch me watch TV. And the competition between Mara and Clara raged on. They both took me on extravagant trips. They bought me everything I wanted. Clara bought me a gaming PC, curved monitors, and the latest Polystation. Mara got me VIP tickets to Comic-Cons and a gaming chair that transformed into a bed, gave massages, and revealed a mini fridge filled with Beaster energy drinks, all at the touch of a button. She and I played together and had loads of fun, while Clara only bought the stuff and expected to win me over. When Mara came to me with the rarest collectible robot in the world, I knew she was the one. She was actually paying attention. She knew the things I liked, and she enjoyed them with me. Clara knew she'd lost, and later that day, I was awoken by a loud noise. I rushed downstairs and saw Clara boarding up my windows. She'd locked us both in. You're mine, and you're not going anywhere! I could tell she'd lost it. She never cared about me. She only cared about not letting her sister win. Luckily, she'd only had time to lock the exits downstairs. I ran back up and Clara followed. She'd almost caught up to me as I jumped through the window. Clara grabbed my feet, but I kicked her off of me, and I fell straight into the pool below. I laughed and cheered, but I had celebrated too early, because as I looked around the pool, I saw at least 50 girls surrounding me, all rabid and wanting to take me for themselves. Grab him! I tried to escape, and although I was dripping wet and slippery, the girls still pinned me down. They took me to a warehouse, trapped me in a cage, and made me sit on a throne. They worshipped me daily and treated me like a god. But all I wanted to do was find Mara. They'd hang out in there with me while they fed me grapes. They surrounded me and lay around me as if they were my harem. When Mara and Clara heard what happened, they raced to rescue me. The sisters battled against my captors, flinging them across the room one by one. But just when they were winning, the crowd piled onto Clara, and Mara slipped past. She kicked the cage wide open and freed me. I kissed her. I told her my heart belonged to her. It had been for a while now. Clara screamed in protest, standing up and sending the girls on top of her flying. "How dare you say that? Mara is nothing compared to me!" She grabbed my left arm and Mara grabbed my right. They pulled on me as if I was a rope in a tug-of-war game. "He's mine! No, he's mine!" But the harder Clara fought, the more I saw that she didn't like me in the least. She was just greedy. Mara let go of me and dropped to her knees. I couldn't believe my eyes. "You know I'm not pretending like her. Listen to your heart, Jack. Will you?" Clara took the ring from her sister and made to throw it, but I caught her hand and I put the ring on my finger. "I've had enough of you!" Mara shoved her sister into the cage and herded the other girls in there with her. She kicked the door and locked it. I couldn't help but laugh at the girls packed in there like a can of sardines. I was just glad that Clara was out of the way. I took Mara into my arms and kissed her, and as I looked deep into her eyes and heard the defeated sighs of the girls who wanted me, I said yes.